So, what is religion? This is an issue that can take up days of contemplation. To get you started, let's take the law's definition of religion, accept it, and use it against them. According to the Supremes of the United States Supreme Court, the word religion means a sincere and meaningful belief that occupies in the life of its possessor a place parallel to the place held by God in the lives of other persons. This meaning of religion, or the religious concept, need not include belief in the existence of God or even of a supreme being. It does not matter whether or not the sincere and meaningful beliefs are objectively true or not, assuming the concept of objective truth itself has any meaning, which it did during the times the Supremes developed this interpretive definition of religion. Now that in our postmodern technological society all truth is subjective or relative, this definition of religion, as developed by the Supremes, is even more powerful. This sincere and meaningful belief concept is very, very powerful, but it does have one serious problem in a society such as technological society, in which God is dead, and in which the concept of objective truth has been replaced by subjective interpretation and objective state of affairs. The concept of objective state of affairs has been replaced by subjective storytelling. True, sincere, and meaningful beliefs are powerful in themselves. If you want to preserve truth, starting with true premises will lead you to true conclusions. However, even false beliefs can be sincere and meaningful. It is basic formal logic that any reasoning starting with a false premise allows one to make a valid argument for anything. If you're not familiar with formal logic, think about expressions such as, quotation, if Congress passes a balanced budget this year, then hell will freeze over this year, close quotation. Or, quotation, if there is peace in the Mideast this year, then pigs will fly this year, close quotation. The false premise allows the whole argument to be valid. If there is no God, or if God is dead, pretty much any belief, whether true or false, that sincerely gives a meaning to one's life, or that explains why there is something instead of nothing, will allow that belief validly to, quotation, possess a place parallel to the place held by God in the lives of other persons, close quotation, as the Supremes have defined religion. Unless one is a consistent nihilist, everyone needs sincerely to believe in something, and sincerely needs to believe that their lives have meaning. Consistent and sincere nihilists are few and far between. Even existentialists contemplate their existential concepts of angst, despair, authenticity, absurdity, and so forth. They contemplate these in order to avoid nihilism, so as to make leaps of faith to something or anything, by being gods creating a world of meaning in their image. In the absence of God or of a supreme being, pretty much anything that supplies one with sincere meaning in one's life will be a God substitute or parallel to God, though it would most likely not go by the name God, as such naming would not be politically or would not be politically or existentially or aesthetically acceptable. Of course, practically speaking, some sincere beliefs do work better than others for purposes of giving power to one's life in addition to giving meaning to one's life. Worshipping the Roman Republic as divine was once a powerful religion, but it would not get you far in the election polls these days. Worshipping trees was once an acceptable part of countless tribal religions, but again, this would not get you far in the election polls these days, unless, of course, you called it worshipping nature or worshipping the environment or some other more up-to-date term for a animist religion, such as calling it environmentalism. Scientism is a very popular religion these days, though most of its worshippers would not admit to its being a religion. Why is there something instead of nothing? Because the universe evolved from nothing through some kind of unified theory explanation we must have faith in finding someday. You must believe, ignore all the contradictions and inconsistencies among scientific theories that exist now and that have always existed in science, an instrumental creation for practical endgames. Have faith, there will be a unified theory someday. Sound familiar? The problem with scientism and with similar God substitute authorities are their coldness. As Wittgenstein said, we feel that even if all possible scientific questions be answered, the problems of life have still not been touched at all. Scientism needs a soul. Adding the aesthetically pleasing words of humanism is how it gets its soul back. Add words like truth, ethics, morality, categorical imperatives, love, charity, equality. These beautiful words that, when sincerely spoken, give meaning to life, even for hedonists and narcissists who apply these words only to their needs. Add words like due process, freedom, equal protection, justice, fairness, and many other beautiful words by which the business of law markets itself. And through them, you can, for both scientism and for humanism, not only attract sincere followers and believers, but also with them the power of a replacement or substitute authority for a dead or dying God. As in the previous beginning of this podcast essays, the question remains, can the aesthetically pleasing words of Christian divine and natural law be a replacement or substitute, and thus a parallel authority for its dead God? Can we have the authority of the Christian God without the Christ? Through using the words, and just the words, without the deity. If your answer is yes, then even according to the rule of law, you have a sincere and meaningful belief that occupies in the life of its possessor a place parallel to the place held by God in the lives of other persons. And thus you have a religion based on the authority of words as your God or gods.